We talk all things mom, boss, and growing our businesses. Welcome to BizMomCoaching, the #1 channel where the real heroines, moms in business, support you through their journeys to help build your business. Here you will see that you are not alone in your business journey. Moms often have the exact same struggles, and we are here to support you. Subscribe and join our mom business community. We would love to network with you. Remember to watch until the end, when I will share how you can access the most effective ways to structure your online business to grow faster and have more time. Exactly what all us mom bosses yearn for. Let's get started. Today I'm speaking to master's level qualified occupational therapist and mom Lisa Westhorpe from Nurture Occupational Therapy. She has a passion for supporting women during their motherhood journey and help them physically but also emotionally to parent pain-free. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
An immense need for moms who need physical and mental support during motherhood, which can be especially beneficial to moms who want to work or who has a business to run. So please tell us a little bit more about your business and how you help moms and what it means to parent pain-free.
Sure. So thank you for hosting today. It's great to be here. I can tell you a little bit more about Nurture Occupational Therapy. So I support moms in the transition to parenthood. So that could be from when they're pregnant, through the kind of birth process, and then into kind of postnatal as well. So it's just thinking about all the things that might affect moms, and that's very broad. You know, occupational therapists work in lots of different areas. So most people have heard of occupational therapists, but they don't necessarily know what they do. So occupational therapists, it's occupation in terms of what occupies you rather than your occupation as in your job. So we can work with people in terms of that kind of vocational route, just making sure that people can work, but it's also, you know, things like parenting. Can you do the tasks that you want or need to do at home? It can be very broad. So that's one of the things that I really like about being an occupational therapist. And so, yeah, I support parents in their transition to parenthood. And this came from me and my own experiences of new motherhood. So I had my first daughter 4 years ago now, and I started Nurture Occupational Therapy just after the birth of my second daughter, and she's now 16 months old. So the business is around a year old now, so it's still a baby. Yeah, I had a lot of kind of physical issues after birth, so I had to kind of figure things out for myself, because I feel like you get a lot of support in terms of what baby needs, but there's not always that support for what the parent needs. So that might be things like physical issues. So I suffered with like wrist pain and hand pain from holding my babies. Core and pelvic floor rehab. So a lot of moms experience core and pelvic floor symptoms, especially, you know, if they're wanting to go back to exercise and those high impact activities. So that's something that isn't really discussed a lot of the time. So that's an area that I really like to support moms in, because it is kind of still something that's not really spoken about and kind of a hidden area. So.
Yes, and moms experience those issues and they think that they're alone in that journey. So knowing that there exists someone like you to help them through that is so important and can be such a help to moms. And, you know, I just love the word from your name, Nurture Occupational Therapy. I think that it is a great word to describe moms taking care of their own needs and what is important to them, but also nurturing and helping their children effectively.
Yes, yeah, there is that dual nature to it. And, you know, occupational therapists are kind of dual trained as well in physical and mental health. And we have a background in child development and infant development. So that is something that we can support with as well. I have a new group that I'm starting to run, a mom and baby group called Growing Together. And that really supports moms in terms of like connection to other moms, which is so difficult at the moment. It's not like we can just go along to a mom and baby group in person. So that kind of connection with other moms and self-care as well. So making sure the mom is kind of doing things that are looking after her, not necessarily self-care as another thing to do, more as kind of a way of thinking about ourselves and being kind of in that headspace of caring for ourselves. and then looking at kind of infant development as well, and what we can do to support babies' development in the group as well.
That is just such an impactful way to help moms. And you already actually answered my second question that I had for you about your own journey in motherhood and how that influenced you to start this business. So I just would like to add that there are so many moms who would love to build businesses, and you touch on such an important point there, that as moms, we can use our journeys to mold our business ideas and then also go and pursue it. And that is exactly what you have done. So that is amazing. And your work must be extremely fulfilling, with real and direct impact on moms in business, but equally also on their kids. So what do you love most about having your own business while being a mom?
I think there definitely is that sense of connection to other mums and feeling like I'm helping people who were in a similar space to where I was. So, having been through it myself, I don't, as you said before, I don't want any other mum to feel alone or like she has symptoms that no one else has. That's not the case. So just making sure that people feel supported. And it's interesting, I've talked to quite a lot of mums who've set up businesses after the birth of their children, and it's almost like motherhood kind of gives them that impetus to go out and do different things. And it's almost like, well, I've produced a person, so what can't I do? So yeah, it is really rewarding working with new mums as well. It's such a kind of a big transition, and it can be a difficult time as well, especially at the moment with there being less support for new moms. Families aren't necessarily able to visit if they live further away, and so having that support network is really important.
Definitely. And so many moms get overwhelmed, with the physicalities involved in motherhood, but also the emotional aspects. And, you seem to be the perfect person to bring everything motherhood and balancing work full circle. You help moms take care of themselves and their kids. Did you find this difficult to consistently apply this in your own life as a mom and business owner as well? And how do you make it work for you?
So that's a really good question. And sometimes it is difficult to balance all those things. I think it's very easy to kind of put out there that, oh no, it's fine and everyone's fine. They can do everything okay and nobody ever struggles with anything. And I think it's definitely great to open up that conversation around, actually, no, it's quite difficult sometimes to balance everything. Thinking about how I manage it myself, I do a lot of planning and scheduling. I sit down with my husband and we kind of plan out our week and make sure that there are times where we have time together, but also who's going to pick up the kids from daycare, just making sure that we have things planned out, because otherwise the days just kind of slip away and it's very easy to end up having done not a lot. And knowing where your priorities are as well, I think is really important. So what are you aiming towards and how are you going to get there? So really breaking it down into those goals and having, smaller goals into that can help you to plan where you need to be.
Yes, I agree with you fully. Like they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I think planning can be such a rescue to any mom, if they do it, if they really commit to do that, control in your day and also in your week. So I really love that you do that and that you're disciplined enough to do that, because I think discipline is, one of the things that you really need to incorporate in order to make that work.
Yes, yeah, I agree. It's hard to plan time to plan. That's a difficult concept. If you don't plan in the time to do the planning, then you're never going to have time to do it. And, really valuing that time as well, because it's very easy for it to kind of get swept to one side as life gets busy. So yeah, you're right. That's definitely something that is good to prioritize. But also I think knowing where you're going is really important, having that vision of where you're going to, and then kind of orientating that around what it is you need to do.
Yes, and I also agree with you fully on the prioritizing. You need to know what is the priority and focus on that first. I think that helps a lot in order to get all the important things done, obviously first and foremost, and make your schedule work. But that being said, as a mom and entrepreneur yourself, do you feel that you ever struggle with frustration in your business, and how do you address that?
Yeah, I think it's very easy as an entrepreneur to feel like you have to do all the things, like you have to fulfill all the roles in your business. And I'm just getting to that point now where I'm like, maybe there are things that I can't do. maybe there are things that I could do if I spent all the time in the world on them, but then I'm not doing the things that are actually necessary to move the business forward. So I think realizing when it's a good idea to outsource certain things, and it may not be that you outsource that, to a paid person. It might be that there's a member of your family who knows things about that, or just kind of getting support with things that either you don't enjoy doing or that you're not particularly good at. So I think it's nice to have that awareness of yourself so that you can think about, well, what is it that I am good at? What should I be doing to move the business forward, rather than just trying to do all the things, because that does lead to more stress and
exactly, overwhelm. Yes. I love to delegate where you can. I asked my husband, for example, to help me with some of the more advanced tech stuff that I just cannot do or get to. And he does that. So that takes so much of my plate. And that is services that I don't have to necessarily outsource at this stage in my business. So I really like that you have actually pointed to that, because so many times moms think, mom business, think that they need to outsource and they need to pay for something, whereas they could just, maybe they have someone, they know someone that they can ask to help them out, and maybe they can help that person's person again. If they've got for example, a business, they can write a review for them, or just, ask your hubby if he can help, like you say, you ask your hubby to help you a little bit with, the kids, to do the whole schedule, who fetches the kids, etc. It's so important for us moms to utilize all our resources to make our load lighter and to decrease frustration that comes with the overwhelm if we don't do that.
I completely agree. And I think as moms, we tend to just want to do things for people, because that's kind of, we're used to caring for very young children, and you do have to do a lot of things. Kind of get into that headspace of being, well, it's easier if I do it for people, or if I do it myself, it takes less time. So rather than teaching, for example, my 4-year-old is learning to dress herself and do kind of age appropriate chores, and it takes so much longer to do because I'm trying to teach her to do it. It would be easier if I did it myself, but then she doesn't learn to do those things. So I think it's very important to invest some time just to make sure that you're teaching skills so that other people have the independence to be able to do things themselves as well, and kind of give them that independence to be able to do it.
Yes, and also, having a little bit of a vision of how it will help you in the future. If you invest the time now to teach your daughter to dress herself, in a few months' time, she can do it, and that will give you more time and take some stress off your plate. And also the same with business tasks that needs to be done. I think it's also to envision how what you do now can help you in the future. I talk a lot about the importance for moms to invest in helping their business, like we have, just spoken about. A lot of your expertise lies in the physical, emotional, and holistic side, and investment in self-care for moms to be better parents. What is your advice to mom business owners about investing in their own needs? Because I think a lot of moms will just brush off their own needs, and I think it's so important to really invest either time or money or whatever they need in order for them to be able to cope better.
I think as moms, we tend to undervalue ourselves some of the time. And, I don't need this thing, my child needs this instead. It's very easy to say, well, it's okay, I don't need anything. But that kind of leads to us getting more and more depleted. And you kind of come then from a place of not being very resourced yourself. So you might be experiencing pain, or you're feeling stressed because you're trying to do too many things. So I think stepping back sometimes and having that bigger picture view of what your life is like at the moment. And a lot of moms find themselves thinking, well, my body doesn't feel like my own body did, previously. And they're always trying to get back to what they were before. So it's just kind of thinking about that in terms of, well, we haven't got a time machine. We can't go back in time to how your body was before you had a baby. We can only move forward. And, that previous body hadn't produced a person. It's done some amazing things since then. So it is going to be different. And just kind of acknowledging that and having a kind view of your own body and making sure that you're kind of caring for yourself as well. But I think, investing in services for ourselves is difficult for moms to do, to kind of value themselves. So it's almost thinking about what the end goal is. You know, if I'm carrying my child around all the time and I'm getting a lot of wrist pain, then that's not helping me to parent. I'm not going to be giving my best as a parent if I'm physically injured. So making sure that, you know, you look after yourself so that you can be the best parent that you kind of want to be.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, we are all better parents if we look after ourselves. We get enough. If we have a physical issue, that we take care of that, not just think that, okay, well, we're not important enough, we need to take care of the kids now and our businesses and life. And at the end of the day, we suffer and everyone else suffers as a result of that. I really think that it is so important that moms especially needs to invest in whatever their need is in order to be a better mom and a better parent, and that will ripple into our businesses and our life and everyone around us.
That's right. Yeah, I completely agree. It's hard to kind of put that time aside almost to discuss this, as, you know, maybe discuss with your other half or with friends, you know, about how you're feeling and what could help. But it's so worth it to kind of chat that through and see what could support you and be willing to kind of invest in it if needed. Because
that's exactly, yes, that's exactly it. It is investing in yourself and just, you know, putting that time in to do that. Do you ever find that, you know, organizational and time management is a challenge in your own business?
Yes, particularly during the shelter in place during pandemic was really, really difficult. Now we actually have daycare back again. So there were 3 months pretty much where we had both of my daughters at home. Both me and myself and my husband were working from home. So I work 4 days a week for a school district, and then I have my business as well, and he has a full-time job. So we were trying to basically run a daycare from our house and work and run a business. So that, yeah, it was a real challenge. And, you know, we found ourselves working into the evening. It wasn't sustainable. Now we have daycare back again. It's so valuable to have that time to be able to plan through things and to have the time to work on the business. So yes, I think time management definitely during the pandemic, I think, is so difficult for mums. I think we feel the effects of that more widely as well. You know, mums may be thinking about starting up their own businesses because the world is maybe not as accommodating in terms of, you know, their job. They feel like they have to leave their job to look after their children because there's no childcare now. So I think it's very interesting how the pandemic has kind of highlighted some of those inequalities almost for parents.
You know, I understand so well. For us as well, it's been so difficult. There was a time that, you know, I just couldn't focus on business because everything was, you know, it takes so much time and effort to put into yours, because I've also got small kids. So they require a lot of attention. It was time for me as well, you know, working late into the night and just having to juggle everything. It was so difficult. But like you say, it's not sustainable. And luckily, you know, things are returning a little bit more back to normal. And yes, we should utilize the resources that we have in order to have that focused time for our business as well, so that we can proceed and progress with that. But a mom, you know, that does such passionate work like you always has a strong higher purpose. What do you feel is your higher purpose and mission in your business?
My kind of inspiration, the reason that I do what I do is to help other mums. I see myself very much in a kind of service role, making sure that other mums are supported. And that's kind of always been my mission, just to make sure that others feel supported. And yeah, it's that transition to motherhood can be so difficult and so lonely at times, and wanting to feel like I can kind of support mums to develop their own networks so that they're not necessarily relying on just me. It's that they look more widely at who can support them once our time together is finished as well. So it's that ongoing support that they can then take care of themselves.
Yeah, that is so important. I love what you say about supporting moms, supporting each other and supplying the resources so that they can thrive. And it just touches me to think about that, because that is about what my business is also about. So I really love to hear every time a mom supports other moms. It's just amazing. And I think that we are making such a big impact in the world, and that is what it is all about. How can mom business owners specifically get started on their occupational therapy journey? If they want to get involved in that, or they want to use such resources, how can they they start with that?
So I think if they can access my website, and there's a list there of resources that they can access, so they can put in their email address, and that gives access to like a parenting tips resource. There are certain guidelines that if you're doing in-person treatment, you would need to be in the same state as the occupational therapist that you're working with. So for virtual services, that line is a little more blurred, but at the moment you would need to be in the same state as the occupational therapist that you're working with if you're doing kind of those in-person services. So I work in California, but if we have moms who are interested in accessing services who are in a different state, I can refer out to different OTs that I know. My website is nurtureot.com.
Okay, wonderful. I really think that your business is amazing. It is such an important service to help moms. And I think it is amazing for moms in business to know about something like this, to find better well-being physically and emotionally, so that they can be a great parent while running a successful business, and also, like I said, while being a good parent to their kids, and so that their kids can also flourish. And it was really lovely to chat to you and to learn a little bit more about this side. Like I said to you in the beginning, it really is something that I have never even considered, and it's just opened my eyes. So it's really something that I would definitely recommend for any mom, and especially moms in business who need support in whichever way, that they definitely look into your type of services.
Thank you. Yes, and I look forward to supporting more mums as well. It's always great to see that kind of transition that they're going through and support them with that, and make sure that they can be the parent that they want to be. That's kind of my end goal.
I stand for being a good parent and to always take our kids' needs into consideration. And like we have mentioned in the interview as well, it is so important for us to be well balanced and to not to have any issues physically or emotionally. And I think if we can use any support to get us to a point where we are more in balance, it is really such a great step to take. So I'm really so excited to know about this, and I thank you so much for all the valuable input that you have given us.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting today. I really enjoyed it.
It's a big pleasure, Lisa. And yes, I wish you best of luck with all your endeavors as well.
Thank you.
Mom entrepreneurs need to work smart and structure their business effectively more than anyone due to business and life with kids often overlapping. A business that is well structured enables moms to focus and progress better. All the complex parts within the business are properly clarified and systemized. When all parts work according to a plan that brings results, it eliminates the overwhelm, and it makes projects and processes within the business easily manageable. It means growing your online business faster, more effectively, and leaving you with more time for the things that matter to you. Isn't that what moms need most? Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time.